everyone, welcome to Sketch Today Live. We're gonna be efficient, jump right into it. Welcome, thanks for joining. Probably go for about an hour today. The theme for the week is, I know it's Thursday, January 14th. Feels like a year's passed again. But theme was architecture, was architecture, so that's what we'll be doing today. If I don't wreck my studio first. Busy day. Started at 7 a.m. my time. Did a workshop for the UK. Some students there. So we'll do our typical warm-up. Get started. What's up, Applejack? Hello, hello. So I'm gonna do some straight lines just to warm up. I've been sketching lots of weird stuff lately, so apologies to those who've been viewing on my Instagram. If you want to catch the more full stream on YouTube, feel free to check out youtube.com/sketchday.com. But yeah, I've been busy, which is always good. Good for the bank, I suppose. Alright, we'll do lots of straight lines. I'm going to be doing architecture, so gotta make sure I'm feeling nice and loose, but also somewhat precise. Alright. Hello, Abigail. Let's go. Andrew, what's up? Raul. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some architecture stuff, so if you have buildings or structures or things that you can think of that you want to do, I have a couple ideas in my head. They're more sci-fi based. But I'll rely on you guys to let me know what you want to see. Let's do some more straight lines, let some people trickle into the YouTubes. The YouTube. I think I'll do more digital next week, so if you've been waiting for that, wanting to learn about it, that'll be next week. Challenge is still going strong. This is an example of the weirdness I've been sketching lately. Just been into some organic forms and trying out some random stuff, so this stuff freaks you out. I'm sorry. If you are watching on Instagram, I'm answering questions on YouTube, just FYI. It's kind of hard to monitor everything, so that's kind of where I'm focusing today. Blessings to you, Latrice. Hello. Let's do some circles here. Like that, draw with the shoulder, nice and loose. Happy little circles. Happy little circles. What's up? Weebob, hello. Pyramid from Blade Runner. Okay, we do some sort of pyramid-like structure. How do you make a pyramid different? Maybe combined with organic forms. I could. That'd be interesting. So I'll make a note here. Post-it note. So far we got a request for some sort of pyramid sci-fi type thing. So yeah, if you want to participate, have your sketches featured tomorrow, definitely hit up the Discord, sketchday.com/discord. Thank you, Weebob, much appreciated. I'm gonna do ellipses even though I'm not doing cars. It's good little warm-up. I suppose I could do a cylindrical building some sort. I gotta put my architecture hat on today, so always a little rough when you're changing subject matter, especially if you've been doing one thing for some time, but also good for you. So what I'm doing with this warm-up is varying the degree of the ellipse. Okay, vary the degree of the ellipse Reminder, if you are watching on Instagram and you want to comment or make suggestions, YouTube's where you need to be. That's the chat I am monitoring, watching. Thanks for your support. To patrons like Latrice, much appreciated. Wee Bob says, never done this exercise. Yeah, I like to do it because it helps me work on my control as I'm drawing. It's not the most precise exercise here, so these two are also useful for me anyways. Everyone has their way of warming up, but some people do a warm-up sketch, other people do warm-up shapes like me here. Hillary, welcome. Thanks for switching from the Instagram. It's better than Instagram, right? Better than Instagram, I think. So first request was for some sort of pyramid structure, and I think it's worth talking about a little bit of perspective when it comes to architecture sketching. So it depends on if you're sketching an interior shape or exterior. You can use, I would say, 2-point or 3-point perspective. All right, I'm just using a Papermate flare today. Now in product design sketching, typically I'll draw my lines really fast. Okay, just really fast, deliberate. Hello, Hendrik. Good to see you too. Typically I'll draw really fast, but with architecture, it's actually interesting. A little bit of wiggle in your lines, and even a double line can help you achieve kind of a loose look or feel as you're sketching something like a building. And this is just my interpretation as I have. Oh, you were the one that said sci-fi. Okay, Hillary. I think the pyramid structure I do will be somewhat sci-fi related. That was a request from Weebob. Pyramid from Blade Runner. So anyhow, this is kind of the line I'm going to use for my architectural stuff today. And typically, I use more deliberate lines for product sketching. I just want to try and embody the feel that you'd get in an architectural sketch. All right, so lines are super important. Okay, so in terms of perspective, right, we have 1-point perspective, so I could draw, some shape to begin with, like this. And let's say there's a point off in the distance, right? You could use a 1-point perspective depending on the point of view. If I want to do something like a room, start with that shape, go back to the vanishing point like so. Okay, super useful, but I think it's not necessarily the most natural way we look at things. 1-point perspective can be useful in the sense that, let's say I did have this central point here. I'm gonna put my point right about there, and let's say I have something like this, just nice and light with the pen. Let's go to that vanishing point, like so. All right. I'm gonna actually move up from this point here, move up to about here, and let's connect right there. Give ourselves some depth. All right, just connect those like so. And I can also project up a bit, and then right where this line intersects, I now have the end of this far wall. So inside a structure is where something like a 1-point perspective comes in handy. All right, if I want to, let's say we want to panel out this wall, maybe a portion of the floor to about this point, right? Maybe this drops down or something. Not sure why, but let's just say we're doing some interior space like so. All right, I can now go ahead and just start to almost texture the ceiling just with some lines, right? As we get a little bit closer to the front, trying to space these out a little bit more. And now you can do the same thing here. Just keep it nice and loose. Like so, and then over, like so. And down, like so. All right. And if we want to continue this over, we can, you know, maybe this interior space here actually terminates a bit further back, right? And we can texture this back wall as well if we want. There's a lot you can do with just lines. All right, there's a lot we can do with just lines. And maybe this opens up, say, to the outdoors. All right. And so now I'll use a little bit more of an organic line, but perhaps we can extend this out like so from our point. Maybe there's a partial deck here of some sort. It's almost starting to feel like a little bit of a beach, modern beach house or cabana or something. Maybe this steps down. Now I can just reference this point and get these wood planks in. This is just regular printer paper, by the way. I'm not using anything fancy, no marker paper just yet. All right, but just referencing that point, just making sure I hit it here, and maybe we'll change direction right here. And as we move further back, I'm going to space these a little bit closer to each other to create that perception of depth. All right, our horizon line is right here, so maybe this is our horizon. Got some clouds off in the distance. So hopefully you can kind of see how this works a little bit. All right, maybe there's a beam, like a wood beam or something, right here. All right, kind of sketch that in, like so, all the way back and down. Alright, there could be some sort of door or window that is able to slide forward, so I can show that it's angled like so. Maybe there's another, let's see, another point here for this door that's kind of accordioned or folded up. And so you can use your perspective lines to essentially figure out how to draw these things, right? And so this would slide forward, maybe in some tracks here. So pretty cool what you can do with just a one-point perspective and some lines. So you don't always have to pull out the markers. Markers are fun, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with lines. And I guess I've just been in a line mood mode, if you will, because I've been working on that inking guide, which is done, just need to finish my edits, but also my 500-page challenge that I'm doing this month. If you guys want to join into a similar challenge, just hit me up, let me know, and I can tell you a little bit about it. All right, maybe some texture here. I guess that doesn't really make sense because I want this to run out, so I made a little mistake there, but I'll just extend these down, just kind of shade in. All right, notice that I'm holding the pen fairly loosely as well. Also important, I think. All right, and then maybe just a little background here to kind of frame it out as a vignette. All right, so there you go. Super quick example there. All right, so what if I want to sketch a pyramid? How do we do that? How do we sketch a pyramid? Well, I think part of it is understanding a bit of the geometry of a pyramid and how you'd go about sketching that. Sorry, I was trying to find my beverage I had, but it disappeared. All right, so if you can sketch a box, you can sketch a lot of things. So this is your standard product design 2 or 3-point perspective setup. Now if I divide this box like so on the top, I have this center point. So now I can draw to the corners and I have a pyramid, right? So if you can draw a box, you can draw a pyramid. What's up, Xavier D? In this box, you can draw in different points of view. So if I have a 2-point perspective system here, again, these sketches will be available to the patrons. I laughed just a little bit because I'm behind on uploading. But patrons channel members will have scans of all these sketches available to them on the Google Drive, or super secret Google Drive. Sorry, Instagrammers, I know your view is a little bit cut off, but I promise you'll get a better experience on YouTube if you join there. All right. Link is available in the comments. So depending on where you sketch, so if I sketch up here, for example, right, I'm gonna have a different point of view. This is something I've talked about before. I'm gonna have a different point of view. All right, so now I'm seeing a little bit of the bottom of this box. If I were to draw here, for example, where we have a little bit above and below. All right, I now have a shape like so. And your typical product design sketch is going to be somewhere, I would say, in this region, typically. All right, so you may have something like this. Well, how you draw your object can often denote a bit of scale and size. So if you see something like this, your brain says, oh, this is big. Your brain is going to say, this is big, but maybe it's the same size. And this one is definitely, okay, it's smaller or below me. But what does this have to do with the pyramid? Well, yeah, I have been behind for a while, Applejacks. What does this have to do with anything? Well, if I'm drawing a pyramid, okay, I just need to draw the base right here. And I need to determine and decide, okay, what's my relative position to this structure or this thing? So let's say Applejacks is standing here, or someone standing there, right? If I draw this right here, I'm essentially saying, relative to my point of view, that this object is bigger than me, okay, relative, because this is my eye level. All right. In this case, maybe the box is above me, right? But it's not necessarily, I guess I'll put a big in question mark there. It's not necessarily certain the size or scale of this thing. A little off-white logo there. With this one, with C, so A, B, C, I'm in a super instructional mood today because I was teaching for 4 hours. So, so with C, the inference is, oh, it's likely smaller than me because I'm seeing some of the top, right? I'm seeing this top right here. So that's likely what your brain is going to say, oh, this is smaller than me. So in the case of a pyramid, how I draw it and the relative position is going to communicate scale. If it's a really big pyramid, really big pyramid, and I'm not in a Blade Runner spinner, then the pyramid is likely to be on a base, maybe something like this, where, you know, here's my horizon line. Okay, if I draw an X here and then draw the point up and then down like so, I now have a pyramid. Also worth noting, you could do a triangular base for your pyramid. So if you wanted to do something more of a tetrahedron, you could do that as well. I suppose that would be an interesting sci-fi concept. So this one would have 4 sides, I guess 5 technically. And this would be 3 sides or faces. 4 technically. So 1, let's see, 1, 2, you can't really see it, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom would be 5. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by 5 faces. So architecturally speaking, all right, we can do some thumbnails to begin with. There's your little introduction on perspective, point of view, relative position. And now we're going to talk a little bit about 2-point perspective. So 3-point perspective is how I normally sketch, but at the same time, if I do this in 3-point perspective, it gets a little bit more complicated. So I would recommend doing like a 2-point perspective. So let's start with just a simple base. All right, and just for our purposes, we can start with a straight line. And a straight line just means that the bottom of the pyramid here is now on our horizon line. Okay? It's on the horizon line, or at the very least, it's going to establish a bit more scale for us. All right, so halfway here, let's pick a point. And now we can draw down from that point, like so. All right, and you guys asked for some sort of sci-fi pyramid. I don't know what the one in Blade Runner looks like. I just want to pick up on some cues here, so bear with me. Give me just a sec. Bear with me. Sometimes I love macOS and sometimes I hate it. Okay. So, Blade Runner pyramid. All right. So that's not exactly a pyramid to a point. It looks like it has some, I'll share this with you guys so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, but it looks like it has some elements that are maybe disjointed, separate, that kind of thing. Let's see. Yeah. So we can use a pyramid as a base and then switch out from there. All right. So maybe this is the base, and what I mean is, you know, this sci-fi pyramid, at least that you have in Blade Runner, it looks like there's some offsets at play, and I'm just gonna kind of follow these lines a little bit. Again, sketching really loosely here, and then down to the base. You know, maybe this comes out or something. Some little things here. So we can keep those nice and loose. And it looks like the tops of these are truncated, but I'll just truncate and move up a little bit, like so, over right there. Maybe start to divide this up a little bit. Now, one thing I'm not being as careful with is, so let's say there's a vanishing point here. What really should be happening is these lines, right, should be receding to this vanishing point. That's what I'm not being super careful about. So let's try that one more time. One more time. By Daft Punk. Sketch Punk. Oh, no worries, Weebob. No worries. It's all good. I like challenges. So I'll do some smaller ones here. All right, let's see. We'll do some smaller pyramid-like structures. So now I'm tapering these lines, right? The top of the pyramids there. If I were to draw through, it looks something like that. Right. So kind of drawing through there, and I'm just gonna offset. You know, maybe this is connected to our main pyramid structure. Blade Runner, what was the sequel was what, 2049, something like that? It's pretty good. I liked it. It's a fun show. So the reason this tapers up like so is these edges are not parallel, whereas this one, the edges are parallel, so it's gonna feel funny and look funny. Just letting you guys know, in case you're like, why does that look so weird? Why are you wrong, good sir? The Sketch Today Live, thanks for joining. Much love to you. All right, maybe there's a central bit here. So again, I'm holding my pen very loosely. Just keeping it nice and loose here. All right, just like that. And let's connect this like so. All right, now if I want to add some texture or do some other things, maybe it's some other divisions, things that jut out. I'm gonna make this a little bit random. Maybe something like that. All right, maybe just some pieces that are almost like armor plating, but not quite. But I like the idea that this is a somewhat segmented structure. Maybe that deviates a bit from what you were hoping to see, but that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so we could have something like that. And now, in terms of shading, texture, that kind of thing, I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. If I want to go vertical, or rather collinear. not. I think I'm going to go horizontal. So I'm just going to texture this side with my pen nice and loose. Really loose. So holding a bit away from the tip just gives me that nice loose feel that I'm after. And again, this is just stuff I've picked up from watching architects draw. Whether or not this is how they do it, TBD, but there's a few that I watch, and just interpreting their process, it's a little bit like this. So if you're an architect watching and cringing, my apologies. You can hate on me in the comments. But we'll just keep it nice and loose like so. And probably just some shadow under here as well. Or a little bit under here. Some line weight on this main structure. And just to show the overall scale, one thing I like to do is we can kind of imagine that this thing's on, you know, some sort of plane, or at least there's some ground happening here. So what I'm doing is drawing some lines as if they're going towards some vanishing point. Okay, like so. And these grid lines kind of act as the ground, right? If I had other things in the background, we could draw that in as well to give a sense of scale. But this should be good for now. All right, a little bit of shadow in there. And if the whole building's casting a shadow, we can sketch that in too, but I will leave it be for now. All right, so after these pyramids, I want to know what you guys want to see, what you want to hear. If this is some sort of balcony or thing that juts out, you can sketch some of these. Not sure how big this structure is, but you know, maybe these are some sort of terraced detail right there. You can terrace that out. A little bit of line weight. Doesn't seem that there are trees in Blade Runner, so I'm going to assume that instead of trees, maybe there's some sort of monolith here, or monoliths. Hello, Lori. We're doing some architecture stuff. Perspective, your favorite. So maybe these buildings are connected to each other or something. Another one there. All right. Maybe something like that. So hopefully that scratches your itch, Weebob, a little bit. Again, if you are creating your own architecture related creations, I'd love to see you submit those in the weekly sketch channel, weekly sketch challenge channel on the Discord. So submit those. Love to see what you're doing, what you're up to. If not, it's all good. I'm just gonna keep rolling, keep it going. All right, so maybe a little shadow here. Again, nice and loose, easy, relaxed. All right, so maybe something like that. right, so maybe something like that. Maybe you can get out of your head enough to participate. I mean, you don't have to, but I think it's a good opportunity to get your work out there, but also get some feedback from others or myself, if I feel qualified to give that feedback in particular. So there's one example of a pyramid. I guess I could do another little one here. Hopefully not mess up too much. Center line. I'll do some sort of doorway. It'd be interesting if these were like intersecting with other shapes or forms. Oh, thank you. Tonio says, in the first year of architecture, now I'm self-conscious. Now I'm self-conscious. But glad to hear it. So yeah, maybe this could be some sort of combined form. I like the idea of, you know, that structure in, I think it's Avengers. I think it's Avengers. Infinity War or Endgame, I don't remember, but they're on that planet and there's this like monolithic structure. I like this idea of maybe something that's weighted a little bit heavier here. Let's see, shadow. I'm trying to think what the shadow would be cast here. So maybe something like this. So yeah, to get lines like this, by the way, just, I think if you back off holding the tip of the pen too close, then as you draw these lines, they're a little bit easier, right? A little bit easier to get that feel. Draw with your shoulder and your elbow. Draw a little bit slower. You can get that nice expressive. I don't know what the name is of the line. I'll have to give it some sort of name, but expressive in its own way and signature to drawing a building of sorts. Little doorway here or something. Maybe we have a little person for scale. But that's what I was gonna do here and I totally forgot. But you can sketch people in. Architects are interesting. A lot of times they'll do like this for people, just for scale. So if someone's looking at this building, they could do something like this. Maybe they're pointing up at the building, so you know they're a bit closer, and then further away we could do some other figures as well. Maybe some shadows just for scale. Be interesting to hear my thoughts on where you draw from. Only second person I've heard talk about where you draw from. What do you mean by draw from? Like learn to draw or inspiration or what specifically? I'm curious. Where I draw from. Like, do you mean form or from? Oh, drawing from the shoulder. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I typically draw with my shoulder. From, with, whatever. And then as far as drawing, I just realized this today actually, because someone asked me, hey, do you draw with this? They asked if I push or if I pull my pen, and I was like, I'm not quite sure, but I do draw typically left to right. It's kind of how I like to do it. Not sure if that makes much of a difference, but I was just kind of observing. I definitely hold my pen somewhat relaxed. That's kind of how I like to do it. So you can add some texture here. Just a couple little strokes. So yeah, maybe this is some ominous, weird sci-fi thing. But yeah, if you just hold your pen fairly relaxed, and you can push harder on it, whatever, but having your hand a little bit away from the tip, I think kind of helps out. All right, so there's two kind of pyramid-like structures. All right, two somewhat sci-fi pyramid things. I guess I could have another return right here or something. Maybe some sort of buttress. Everyone loves buttresses, right? Such a delightful word, buttress. All right. Just kind of fill this in for texture. Can I add a waterfall somewhere in there? Ooh. That's a good question. I mean, maybe down the side. Maybe too late for that, but tell you what, on the next structure I'll add some sort of water body or waterfall type thing. Lori, sorry I missed that. All right, so a little bit different. It's kind of like when we had Fashion Week and I had to kind of switch up everything I was doing and just change. It's always a little bit difficult or disorienting, if you will, to do that. But I get by. Not a trained architect, but I can pretend. I can pretend a little bit. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with just lines though, right? No marker, just lines. Pretty amazing what you can do. All right. So let's see, what other architecture requests do you guys have? I mean, if you have none, I'll just start drawing some stuff. Until someone complains or requests. I know Lori wanted to see some sort of waterfall or water feature perhaps on one of these. So we'll see what I can do. A little bit of land here. I like cube homes. Actually, that's not right. There we go. All right. So maybe like that, and I'll just turn this into some sort of wood. What do you call this? Awning soffit? Some sort of wood soffit is what I'll do there. Maybe some railing. Maybe a tree house. Ooh, okay. I could do a tree house. Oh yeah, I did want to do some sort of... I don't know if you saw my... Yeah, Laura, you did see my recent Instagram post, but I did want to do some sort of almost like a structure that got overrun by growth. Maybe a little bit more sci-fi perhaps. Kind of wish I had done this a little bit differently, but basically what I'm sketching and doing this is, you know, imagine two boxes on top of each other. One of them is more what's the word, planar, coplanar, with how you might be looking at it, and the other one's rotated. So a little bit of a multi-point perspective. All right, that's what's happening there. Thank you, DLL. Much appreciated. DLL says, I love your sketches. Thank you. It's hard to break patterns though. Like I realize I'm doing a lot of the same things I do when it comes to architecture. So I'm going to try and break it up next time with the next sketch. Maybe this is some car parked in here or something. Use line weight to help pull things out where you can. I should have done like horizontal railing instead of that, but too late. Too late. It's a little bit traditional looking too. Anyhow, maybe something like that. We can do a nice tall skinny window. Hey, thanks DL, much appreciated. Wow, you are awesome. So do some like skinny windows, something like this. My kids sound like they're gonna kill each other, but at least they sound like they're having fun. All right, so we could do something like that, and then, you know, maybe add some sort of tree, foliage, whatever.
I didn't get Inception. I didn't get Inception. Oh.
Right, do something like that. And I'll just texture out the side. I don't know if the whole thing's covered in wood necessarily, but it's easy to do that. All right. And if this is a little person up here, you get a sense for scale. All right, it's a fairly big structure. Maybe there's another person just chilling right there. Hand on the railing. So we could do something like that. Car is not the focus of this sketch, so I'm trying not to give it too much detail here. So yeah, you could do something like that. And just for purposes of explaining, if I just have one marker, for example, like even if it's just a warm gray to use here, I could just add some marker to the side, like so. Maybe just to show material and some shadow, lighting where I need it. All right, just very, very loose shading here, right? Very, very loose, just to get that feel. So even with one marker, right? Add a little bit of tone. help it feel a little bit better. All right, it's pretty simple. Okay, so Lori requested, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a beach house, it was, oh, tree house. That's right, tree house. So let's do some sort of structure. I'm trying to think about this. Treehouse. I assume some sort of wooden structure. I'm gonna make it kind of funky. Might as well make it funky. Nice and loose and funky. All right. I want to do some sort of circular deck. Almost like those Ewok dwellings from Star Wars. All right, but look how like far I'm holding from the tip of the pen. Just really loose here. Just really loose. All right, so how you hold the pen, and if you're wondering where I'm sketching to, I'm imagining a point in the middle. That's kind of what I'm sketching toward. Something like that. And okay, so now we want to make this somewhat of a tree house. So I'm gonna start just sketching some gnarly looking tree here. Maybe it's almost like a bonsai. Not a bonsai, but you know, the tree is like growing into and around the house as well, but we also have branches throughout here. All right, little supports on the tree, kind of nailed in. Maybe affixed to the tree there. Foliage. So for foliage, I don't like to draw all the details of the foliage, so I'll just draw like lines, textures, negative shape, things like that. So then it almost becomes part of the background. Let's finish out the roof here. Oh, my hand keeps wandering. That's crazy. All right, so just like that. Much love to you. Thank you, DLL. Means a lot. Much appreciated. Alright, so maybe something like that there. I like decks. I don't know about you guys, but I really like decks. Decks, bump outs, things like that. It's my jam. What's up, Ricky Biddle? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. I was just saying my kids sound like they're gonna kill each other in the next room. I mean, not literally. YouTube algorithm. Don't you dare. Alright, so for the portions of the tree, whatever, I may kind of texture this in. I don't know her. Just add some lines here. Texture it out. I don't know her. This is like a weird height. So let me change that door height. So really you could access this. It's a very weird house. You could access this probably from a ladder or something. You're going out this way. As long as they're having fun, that's right. Didn't realize how terrible my treehouse was until I got older. It's never good when "Don't step here" is written on the floor. Absolutely. Can't be a good sign. Alright. So yeah, it may feel weird, especially if you've done product sketching, to like really loosen up and just slow down a little bit. But I've found, for me anyways, that helps me do my architecture stuff a little bit better. Just nice and loose, chill, no stress. No stress. But yeah, tonight we're gonna watch, I think we're gonna watch Solo, a Star Wars movie. We've been making our way through all the Star Wars movies. We have to finish, oh no, we're gonna finish episode 9 tonight. That's what we're doing. The Rise of Skywalker. The dark side of the Force has many abilities. Some consider to be unnatural. Yeah, I'm not really thinking through this sketch, so I'm just gonna finish it up. I'm not really paying attention, but right, you could do something like this, and then to help bring the house forward. Okay, under here, I'm gonna shade out the tree just a bit. Give it some shadow so it feels like it's underneath this deck piece. Oh, Lori, just as a follow-up, you had mentioned or asked if I was liking the Sakura pens. So far so good. I will say though, they seem to bleed with marker. I don't know if it's just me or I'm using the wrong pens, but for line work they're pretty great. Do I prefer digital or real life? Like if I had to choose for the rest of my life and I had an unlimited supply of pens and paper, I would definitely do pen and paper. If someone was like, you can only pick one for the rest of your life, assuming there's no internet even, so that's not even a factor. But I would pick pen and paper personally. How about you guys? What would you pick? Digital or pen and paper? If let's assume, you know, unlimited supply, no question. You snap your fingers and it just appears. What would you do? Digital or analog? Remember, no internet factors in, so all you've got is your tablet. I didn't quite get a waterfall in here, so maybe on the next one, but what would you guys pick? See, we got pen and paper, paper. Can I color the sketch with watercolor? I mean, I could use markers, but I think I'll leave this one just black and white today. Just black and white today. Let's give this deck a little bit of thickness and then just some separation in the boards. There's a guy on Instagram, teaches, his name's Will Weston Studio. He does these really cool like vignettes of homes and stuff. They're really fun. Check it out if you haven't. Just throwing some shadow here on our deck. So yeah, some sort of gnarly tree. Maybe we do have a branch coming through the deck. We want to show that, we can. Maybe add some shade to our tree. Again, you know, if you can just relax and hold your pen, you can get some pretty expressive lines and just loosen things up more than you might be used to. Might feel uncomfortable, but it's pretty fun, I think. Oh, thanks, Rick. Yep, I've been drawing all of last year, fighting the good fight against algorithms that recommend other content than mine. So your question is, any tips for studying industrial design? I would say just be a sponge, soak it all in. Don't assume that industrial design is the only thing you can or will do. What I mean is, get a minor in something that you like. For example, I wish I had continued with my computer science minor a bit more. I understand the concepts, but kind of wish I'd stuck with it. Computer science and math. I've used a little bit of that in my design career, but at the same time, it would have been cool to see where else it could have taken me, you know. I'm not sure if this house would have a chimney of any sort, but maybe it's got some weird gnarly chimney here. We can sketch that in. Guessing it would be tied with some sort of cable and attached to the home. Something like that. Kind of cool. Physics and designing. Okay, we got lots of votes for pen and paper. I would totally take pen and paper as well. Any opinion on Kim Jung-hee? He is amazing. He used to follow me on Instagram, and then he stopped because I stopped drawing for a bit. Went through some life things. But yeah, he used to follow me for a bit and would not comment, but like my posts. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is rad. All right, so for those just joining, if you want to catch the replay of the video, we did this little more modern dwelling. We have our little tree house here. We did some pyramid sci-fi like structures, an interior here. So what else architecture related questions do you have? I did promise a waterfall. I won't say I'm gonna do falling water, but we could do some sort of waterfall. I have an idea. Digital for Latrice. All right. In the meantime, I think I'll sketch this idea I had. You know, what if you had this like cool modern dwelling? And I'm gonna kind of do it as a bit of a cutaway view. I'm hoping this works. So it's more of a top-down view, and you'll see why in just a sec. But we'll just keep going. If you have any other ideas, though, let me know, and I will gladly consider it. Architecture related today. All right, I could probably work on my line quality on these, but all right. So my idea was to have some sort of So it's a riff on Falling Water. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Falling Water. The home by the amazing Frank Lloyd Wright. I had the chance to visit a while back. Incredible. Incredible stuff. Skyscraper, totally glass building. Okay. Modern lake house. Would be fun too. What pad surface do I like sketching on? Yes, it is a cutting mat. This is a Fisker's cutting mat. I got it to replace another cutting mat I had because the other one I had, let's just throw some rocks in here real quick. The other one I had, it would like buckle and fold. So I spent a little bit more money to get this one. I'm glad I did. I think it was like $40, but for me, it just provides a nice background for my sketching on video. But also, if I need to cut something or whatever, I can always cut it. So, but yeah, I was thinking maybe some sort of structure like this that spans a divide, maybe has a little bit of an overhang or something. I didn't really want to do that return on the roof, but I already committed. Already committed. But yeah, if I had to choose, it would definitely be pen and paper. Probably just ink. Ink and paper is what I would do. But yeah, kind of a weird structure here. But the idea is that the water is running underneath the structure right here. Probably throw some tall windows on. I'm not working from like a plan or elevation or anything like that, so I'm just kind of riffing from my head. It's not necessarily the best way to go about this if you are if you're doing some sort of architectural drawing. Usually you have like a plan drawing. Basically means a view from the top, as well as, I guess this could be some sort of patio thing. I just don't want to cover up the top too much. I probably could benefit from some marker on this one, just to help bring it to life. But yeah, I was thinking that these two sides could be part of the overall home. This is a Papermate Flare pen, by the way. I was thinking these could be like part of the home. And I want to capture some shadow here, so I'm gonna just shade in a little bit here, like so. Do I ever paint? I paint digitally, mostly because I don't want to deal with like messy oil or watercolor or anything like that. So yes, I do paint, but digitally. If you go to my website, especially if you're new, sketchaday.com/videos, I've been working on not archiving, but listing out just a ton of videos for people in case you're curious. There is an illustration and painting section, as well as a section for appearances that I've made on Adobe Live, and in a few of those I have kind of painted different things. This roof is dumb, by the way. This should be going the opposite way. Alright, I am aware. But felt cute at the time. Might delete later. Felt cute, might redraw later. So sometimes with these, at least I've found anyways, drawing from a different point of view can help expose or show details that you might not otherwise be able to see. So in the case of this water feature that goes under the whole home, it's not exactly something that would be easy to show if I chose to do like, you know, a different perspective. So having a top-down view kind of shows that detail or that feature. All right, so that's why rules are rules, and they are guidelines, not necessarily mandates. I guess that's a touchy word. Rules are meant to be bent, if not broken, within reason. What kind of camera? I'm using a Sony A7 III. That's what I'm using. Congrats on live streaming if you're gonna do it. It's a lot of work, but it's really fun. So keep at it, don't give up. So maybe these are some sort of concrete blocks, foundation type thing, or just precast or whatever. Just go ahead and shade that in with some hatch lines. So I am sketching slower than I normally sketch, right? If I'm doing products, tends to be a little bit faster. And let's add some texture here. Then I'll finish out the water portion of this. You know, maybe the structure does go back, but I don't have to sketch the whole thing out. Thank you, Star Swirl. Oh, landscapes in graphite. That's cool. Yeah, I'm using a Sony A7 III. I used to use an A7 or sorry A6400, and then like a series. So like fall, winter, spring, summer type thing. That would be interesting. I'm going to do some architecture tree. Just something like that. In the background here. The Miyagi place in Cobra Kai. So I'm going to do some sort of... I know there's like a style, and I'm probably messing this up as I do this, but I'll just go for it anyways. And so now the water, I'm going to use lines. Just a series of lines here. Don't want to make it too dark, but I can use closer lines together right here to kind of get this feeling of change in direction, if you will. Right through there. I'll do some more texture on these concrete bits, like so. All it takes is practice. If you feel your drawings are horrible, I practiced a lot myself. It's like a mid-century modern meets modern vibe to it for sure. For sure. You know, I could see this being like some sort of glass house or whatever. Also, you may notice I don't use rulers. I just generally, as a I guess principle of mine, I try not to use tools as much as possible. If I have to, I'll use a ruler, but for the most part, no. I want to practice and just get better and better, and I feel like I have in the last year, so that's been kind of exciting. Learned some stuff, been following some artists that I love and just trying to kind of copy what they do. Not really copy, but just leverage and learn from what they do. All right, particularly as it pertains to just sketching with a pen. So I think even just plain pen drawings are just sometimes so enjoyable, beautiful, satisfying, right? If you can figure it out. I don't want to show too much of inside the house, but I'll just throw some lines here and there, maybe hint at some stuff. Hello, Sticky Art. What's up? It's Architecture Week. So I was just doing some architecture stuff here. How long have I been going for? Hour 13. So I'll probably do one more, just black and white, and then we'll call it good. But there you go. Quick little sketch here. Just like that, and yeah, if this is, you know, a rock where the waterfall is going by, maybe just a little texture on that. Anything that's facing upwards, basically, I'm trying to avoid shading or having any sort of hatch on. It's nice and chill. Just like that, nice and chill. All right, so there's another somewhat quick architecture style. Oh, interesting, Sticky. That's interesting. Drawing, used to draw that, or do them rather, as a kid. Yeah, if anything, if nothing else, rather, architecture drawing can help you, I think, develop a very, or develop appreciation for perspective. Right? You can come at it the other way too, from like product, and then try and do it. But it's definitely an adjustment, and can be tricky. It can be tricky. I've had to break a lot of product habits lately because I'm trying to do a bit more illustration as well. But I've had to break some habits that I've had as a product illustrator, product designer. You know, like that fast line, like I was telling you guys about, for example. Yep, exactly. Somewhat inspired by, but I didn't want to do falling water per se, but I wanted to build some structure that, you know, spanned the water. The request was for something that included water, so that was the idea for sure. I guess we need some sort of door here, so Just break this out a little bit. And maybe these open up. All right. So, quick review again. There's our quick modernish cabin. We did an interior space. Looked at one point perspective and how you can use this to show, maybe a different view here. We did these futuristic sci-fi Blade Runner-esque buildings, pyramids, our little treehouse sketch as well, and then this modern cabin thing. I guess I'll add a little bit of shading here, just in this overhang, so it feels more intentional. All right, so I have time for one more architecture related request, so hit me up, let me know what type of structure. I think there was a skyscraper request, so I'll keep that in the back of my head, but I do want to see what else you guys want to do here. What you want to see? What am I saying? What am I saying? Pyramids remind you of the Mayan type. Yeah, I can see that. You know, I had a thought the other day. Actually, it was last year. But wouldn't it be interesting in history if, and this is not meant to be controversial or political, but rather speculative. Wouldn't it be interesting if, when the world was being conquered by explorers, wouldn't it be interesting if, rather than the way history played out, if they were like, hey, let's all come together, let's see what our societies could build together. It's a curious thought, and I wonder if it would make for a good movie plot. Like, what if these civilizations weren't wiped out? What would that be like? Almost like Black Panther, but for other indigenous people. It'd be interesting. Japanese inspired futuristic treehouse. I could do Japanese inspired structure for sure. I'm thinking at least. Okay, residential house built around a central wooden post. I think that's interesting, and I could include some Japanese elements. I think that would be interesting for sure. Hello, Page One Comics. What's up? Thanks for joining. We're doing some architecture stuff today. All right, so I like the treehouse. Eiffel Tower would take me like 4 hours to do. I like the house based around a post or pole of some sort. But there's our quick review again. What we've been up to. So let's do a couple quick vignettes here. All right, so I'm gonna start with, and maybe these will be a little bit more concept art, not so much architecture. Architecture, perhaps. I was thinking, if this is on some sort of central post, that maybe you have these how would this one look? Maybe you have these modules that are mounted to the post, like so. All the way around, almost like little wedges. I don't know how they'd be connected, but I could totally see something like this. Maybe, yeah, you'd want some kind of landing ladder. I'm trying to think, but I want to connect these two with some crazy staircase type thing. So I'm gonna have to think about that for a little bit. Maybe there's another one over here. Going the opposite way. some siding on here. Little roof thing, and a little bit of line weight right through there, and that'll kind of help this pop off a bit more. Maybe a little bit of shadow right through there, and then shadow on this side. So just some hatching lines close together to give that some shadow. So there's our first one right there. Minecraft architecture. Thanks, Lori. Thanks for hanging out. What is it you don't agree with, Sticky? Did I upset you? Or was it a comment or something? Or was it related to my speculative sci-fi history of imagine if people weren't wiped out? What would that civilization be like? That would be a fun project. You know, fun like sci-fi type project. What's up, Lost Gamer? Hello, hello. Just doing some architecture sketching.
I cried during a powder boy.
Maybe this is just some rope or something. I don't know. Feels like it should have like rope ladders or something of the sort. Yeah, feels like I should do that.
I didn't get accepted. Oh.
For show. So I'll do this concept. Maybe we can do one more concept and then I'm gonna call it good for today. Thank you for joining. If it's your first time, I do this a few times a week. I used to do more daily, but I don't want to get burned out. And usually when I feel like a little bit of that coming on, I try to back off just a little bit, because as a creative person, an artist, you don't want to completely burn yourself out. So I just need to you got to find your rhythm, find what works for you. And it'll all work out. Okay, this one I'm gonna have to recess a little bit. Since we have that ladder, I'll recess that a little bit. Then I can do just straight lines and maybe show some wood plank stuff. Maybe just like a little door or something here. Could be something like that. I don't know if this pole is big enough, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe that goes to some other structure or something, I don't know. Some sort of weird treehouse business going on. All right. Oh, awesome. Okay, so the request was something Japanese inspired. So I'm trying to think here. I know there's like the pagoda style roofs, so that could be something. Right? Could be something here. But the idea was to have a central structure. I think to really show that, however, I'd have to maybe do a different perspective. Could be something like this. But then it's just gonna look like Taipei 101. You know that building? You guys know Type A 101, right? So I gotta think about this a little bit. Or maybe I'll just go for it anyways. And apologies if you are Japanese and watching this and you feel like I'm reducing your architectural expression in your culture to simply this symbol, but it is what it is. All right, something like this. Almost feels like I'm doing a bit of like game designs type stuff where you're designing like mini sets for a game. Like maybe this is some sort of tower or something like that, which to be fair is still architecture, still counts. Still counts. I didn't do any brutalist stuff today. That's the mostly concrete expressions of architecture. But yeah, I'm not super happy with this. I think I could have done better with this one, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, if you're new, thanks for joining. It means a lot, hanging out. Like I said, I'm just gonna throw a quick background here. But yeah, it feels almost like a set piece for a game or movie or some sort of watchtower instead of a dwelling in the case of this one. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. A lot today. A lot. All right. What was I gonna do? Oh, I want to do some brutalist. Just some sort of concrete structure. If that's okay. Some sort of concrete structure, like. Maybe we can do it so the scale. So it's really just meant for like one person. There they are, hanging out, looking. This is maybe a villain's house or something. Some sort of villain's dwelling is what this feels like. Embedded into rock. But not only that, not only is it embedded into rock, but maybe we have stuff growing on it. Some sort of... Since I've been in that mood lately, if you've seen my Instagram, been in that like weird stuff growing on stuff kind of mood. For those who follow me on Instagram. So yeah, maybe this is some sort of rock face here. Something like that.
I stole a pen from the bank. I cried.
I guess we could do a couple of these. But I like the idea of like, maybe this is just this is the only glass in the house or something. Right here. This is like all you get. Right, it's this little slit. Our little little bad guy or whoever it is just hangs out right there in their little structure. And maybe a door down here. One of my favorite sci-fi structures is, I forgot the name of the planet. There's probably some Star Wars fan here who can tell me. It's not Exegos, or Exegol rather. It's where Darth Vader was in Rogue One. Sorry if that's a spoiler. But it's where he's kind of hanging out. There's this like structure he lives in. I'm just like, that is cool. That is really cool. Night, Ridiculous. Ricky. I remember those days. Night, man. Now I'm just like, go to bed. Love you. Go to bed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have kids, so they are currently, they sound like they're not killing each other. They sound like they're having fun, so I think I'm okay. So yeah, maybe one like that. We could do another one. Some other sci-fi structure here. I like these really tall, skinny, monolithic things. I freaking love it. I mean, someone did ask for a skyscraper anyways, so let's do some steps here. Maybe have some buttresses up on our steps. How would we do that? Yeah, like so. Down. So. Over. Something a bit menacing. It's also interesting, if you think about it, how your line direction can really affect how you perceive a shape. Right, so what I mean is like right here, right here, got lines going that way, lines going that way. And so when you juxtapose those two, okay, like so, and like so, you essentially create a little bit of a form story, right? So that's kind of the doorway there. So how you, Mustafar, that's right. How you arrange all those lines, right, can affect how you perceive your shape. Mustafar system. So yeah, these feel a little bit more like set pieces, but I mean, if I were working on some sort of film production, I might do some doodles like this just to kind of set the stage. I've done concepts for a sci-fi TV show. It was just a local production actually, but that was fun. It was fun to kind of just let loose and do some different stuff. All right, I feel like I need to make this special somehow. So let's go ahead and make this a little bit wider. Or I guess we could do the same thing, just come up like so. That feels better. Feels better already. Just give it some presence. And maybe we'll shift it back like so. I also like the spaceship of the villain in, not the villain, but one of the villains in the Han Solo movie, a Star Wars story. It's a really cool spaceship. It's like super tall. What's up, Star Swirl? Screaming. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. Your mom has COVID. I have had some friends this week whose siblings or themselves have contracted it, but hope she's okay. Sorry to hear that. Alright, so this will be my last sketch, and I'll do a quick review. Reminder to channel members and patrons, I am going to upload this right after the show, I promise. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to scan it all, and I'm going to upload it to the Google Drive for you. So, shout out again to channel members and patrons. Thank you. Let's see. Because I have a terrible memory. Thank you to DLL. I don't know if you're still watching, but thanks for your super chat contribution of $20. Much appreciated. I know last year, and I'm sure this year will be and has been challenging for a lot of people, so appreciate your help. Much love to you. Like I said, we'll wrap up here in just a sec. I just want to put some background elements down. So again, look at how far my hand is from the tip of the pen, right? It's just going to give you a looser feel. It's going to force you to draw with your shoulder in many instances. But if you are drawing with your wrist, it'll actually help you as well there. I'm going to turn this into part of the scene, so it doesn't feel so weird. Maybe just add this in. It's just a rough background sketch. So again, not how I normally sketch, like products, things like that, but works pretty well if you're doing some sort of architecture sketch. All right, a little bit of line weight there to help pull this forward. I don't know her. All right, maybe something like that. Alright, no worries, Star. No worries. Just being here is enough. Helps a ton. If you guys like and share or tune in next time, that totally helps as well. Alright, so there's a few architectural sketches today. If you want to participate, hit up the Discord. Alright, I know some of you are asking about stuff I use, so there's a link to all the stuff I use. You can use that link, sketchaday.com/stuff, and I'll tell you what pens, paper, and so forth I use. All right, so there's our two, I guess, homes or structures around a pole. There is our mid-century modern home that's suspended over water a little bit. I guess you could say inspired by falling water. Interior design sketch with a bit of exterior shown, kind of a section here. Pyramids. All right. Blade Runner inspired. Treehouse that we did as well. It was a request from Lori, one of our patrons. Thank you again. Much love. And we have our kind of modern home here. I keep saying I'm not going to work on this anymore, but I do need to. There. And then hint at a little bit of inside. Now it feels better. Okay. And then we have that structure as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate we had a good show today. Lots of people tuning in. So tell your friends, wife, kids, whoever. Maybe not kids, but yeah. sometimes we talk about adult things here. Just kidding. You can cover their ears. Tell everyone about it. I had fun. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you feel motivated to try something new. Architecture is not something I do often, I would say, but I do enjoy the style and I do enjoy mixing things up. So appreciate you sitting through. Remember, passion is the process. If you learn something today and you want to try it out. And when you feel good enough doing it, take some time to try and explain it to someone. It's going to help you be that much better. That's the secret sauce, among other things, but that'll help you a ton. All right, peace and love. Thanks again to channel members and patrons. If you are a channel member at the ultimate fan level and you have not contacted me for your sketch for this month, definitely hit me up and I will be mailing that to you. All right, peace and love. Have a wonderful day. NYC Tours, thanks for joining. Take care. You're awesome, by the way. And I'll see you guys next time right here on Sketch A Day.